Hello, everybody. I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, and Japanese out here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, if not a little bit rainy today. And I decided that I was going to tell you a little story about how I got into game-based learning. And so to tell you this story, I have to talk about two students. First student we're going to call Bob Dunderhead. He was the class clown. This was my very first year teaching, and this guy just wanted attention, and he got it all the time. He would just have weird outbursts in class, in English, not even in the target language. He wasn't doing well in any of his classes, but he sure got attention. There was one day I got kind of like, okay, how do I manage the classroom? It's just totally out of control with him. So I told all the students to get up. They had a new seating chart. And I told them in Japanese, I'm like, Sally, you sit here. George, you sit here. Susan, you sit here. And they were all surprised because they were sitting in the exact same spot that they were before. But then I said, Bob, you sit here right by the board. And so Bob was the only one whose chair changed. Everyone thought it was really funny. Even Bob Dunderhead thought it was really funny. And he realized he was the class clown, and he realized he was out of control. But that was just his personality. Meanwhile, in a different class, I had Fred Valedictorian. He really was the valedictorian. He's a very, very smart kid. He got A+++++ on everything. He was very quick to pick up on all concepts. He was great at pattern recognition. It was no wonder that he was valedictorian. It was no wonder that he was getting straight A's in all of his classes because he was sharp as a tack. Fred always wore a heavy coat, and he always had his hood way over his head, and he sat way in the back of the class. But, he was getting straight A's, so he was comfortable there. I left him there because he was doing just fine where he was. I mean, he was a bit quiet, but, he wasn't causing any trouble. So it was okay that he didn't speak up quite loud, and it was okay that he didn't really interact with anyone because he was getting his A++, and that's all that counted, right? Meanwhile, Bob Dunderhead was failing all of his classes, like I said, and I was really concerned. How can I get this kid engaged? He's just not doing the work. He doesn't seem to care about the class. He doesn't seem to care about any of his classes. How do I keep him engaged in the subject matter? So one day, thinking about this really deeply, I'm walking down our commons at school, and there is a large crowd of people, just large crowd of people. And I'm walking up to them with, what's going on here? In the center of them, in the center of this large crowd of people, is Bob Dunderhead. And he has everyone's rapt attention. I don't know what he's talking about, but everyone is just enthralled at whatever it is he's saying. He just, it's the school is out, the buses are gone, everyone could go home, but no, they're standing around listening to whatever he has to say. Meanwhile, Fred Valedictorian, I'm thinking about him. Because that morning I got a message from school, and they said, if Fred Valedictorian's father comes to school at all, you are to notify the administration immediately and call the police. So I'm suddenly seeing with great clarity into the future. Bob Dunderhead's going to be just fine. He's going to go out in the world. He's going to have a happy life. He's going to be surrounded by loved ones. He's going to get a job. He's going to make lots of money, whatever he does, because he's good at interacting with people. Bob Valedictorian, he's got a full ride scholarship to college. He's going to do great in college. He's going to sail through with his A++++. But the second he gets out of college, he's not going to know how to do a job interview. He's not going to be able to interact with anybody. That was my moment of clarity. I suddenly realized I'm focused on the wrong kid. So that's when I really got into game-based learning. And, now we're talking a lot about social emotional learning and how important it is. But boy, oh boy, it seems so obvious when I look back on it. But, I was a first year teacher, and my thought was, this kid is doing great in class. He's got his A++. He's not any trouble at all. And it's the other kid, the troublemaker, that I have to worry about. And I was totally wrong about that. So, that's my little story about game-based learning. When you play a game in class, it's got the social emotional learning baked right into it. It's the students have to interact with each other. And, when I'm doing it in the target language, they're interacting with the target language and they're applying all of the skills they've been learning from the target language on the game. So that's my little soapbox about why game-based learning is important. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you on my next video.